Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chicken Police. And in this episode, we will visit the insane asylum. And I don't know the full name anymore, but it has a ridiculously long name. And yeah, maybe we will find out about Ibn's twin brother Albert. Maybe we will see Natasha there again. We don't know about the dead body quite yet. We suspect that it's Ibn's twin brother Albert, who Ibn adored, and it will be quite dangerous, I think, because Bubo gave us the hint that cornered red red bites. And yeah, so we don't know who killed Albert. Maybe it was Ibn himself. Maybe it was someone who falsely mistook him for Ibn or something like that. Was he in the asylum? Did he break out? We don't know that yet, but we will find out. Let's go. Oh boy.
I slept like I used to sleep years ago. Like a miner or a soldier. Empty. Dead tired. Then I saw Tessa. My darling little daughter. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't recall her face. I reached out to her, but she just kept getting further and further away. Then I saw Molly. But she wasn't real. Just the ghost of a memory. I'm here, I cried. But all I heard was laughter. Not hers. Who's there? Suddenly, she appeared. Natasha. Just stood there laughing. But her eyes were cold. Then she said something. Painted red. Painted red. Painted red. It was just a dream, Sonny. Nothing more. I looked at Marty and I saw the same thing in his eyes as he probably saw in mine. It's time to hit the brakes, to turn back, go home and forget about all of this. Of course, I stepped on the gas instead.
Oh
Honestly,
boy.
I wasn't expecting anything good, but this...
Ooh, just like a horror movie.
I was thinking the same.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Oh boy.
Let's hope so.
Look at that, it's colorful. Okay, let's go from left to right. That's the Fox King, I guess.
This picture...
It's very...
Bright.
special? This...
It's...
Okay.
special?
Huh. Okay, I have no clue. It's so scary here. Oh my
Even
god.
if you manage to escape, there's nothing but hills and forests for 100 miles.
Imagine how many poor lunatic ghosts must haunt those woods.
Ooh, Sonny, you're creeping me out.
This whole thing is creep. Oh boy. Did you see that wiggle?
This guy seems strangely familiar to me.
He
You
looks
don't
like
say.
Mullen.
You've been treated here too. That would explain a lot.
Oh, don't be stupid. I'm serious. Take a closer look.
No.
Well?
No, it can't be. Are you telling me it's him? M.B. Davis himself?
I'm sure of it, pal. It seems the gossip was true. The eternal king of jazz in a madhouse.
Oh, no. The poor devil.
Oh god, that wiggling.
Huh.
Can we? Okay,
It
no, we
doesn't
can't
matter
talk to
how
him.
big a star you once were. Ending up lonely and crazy in a rotting insane asylum in the middle of nowhere is like the universe restoring its balance.
That was very poetic of you, Marty. Almost deep. Careful you don't drown.
Cluck you.
Okay.
Ah, like an angel from heaven, isn't she?
Yeah, half of her's still up there, I think.
That's rude.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Can we see her
Of
face?
all the great wild
No.
ones.
Greetings, miss.
Is it really you?
Well, yes.
Yes, it really is you. The chicken police.
I'm afraid so.
So she seems to be a fan. Maybe we can like play on that a bit.
Of all that's furry and plumy, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Miss, we'd like to ask...
Please, don't be scared. I'm just really excited. You know, I've read every book about you and your adventures, and I even collected newspaper articles when I was a little girl.
Indeed.
You can't imagine what an honor it is to meet you in person.
We
She's
really...
a bit scary too. So.
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Take a deep breath, Miranda. Take a deep breath.
Are you okay, miss?
Yes, I am. I just needed some air. So, dear detectives, Santino and Martin, what can I do for you?
Well, miss, we have some questions, if you don't mind.
I'd love to answer all of your questions, detectives.
That was just straight up scary. Like, oh boy. Miranda Giraffe? Full of life, full of hope, full of almost everything, and she's a big fan of us, unfortunately. An overly nice nurse we met behind the desk of the asylum. Her name is Miranda, and she's an embarrassingly huge fan of the chicken police. Yeah. Okay.
Say,
Yep.
miss, what can you tell us about this place?
Our institution was standing even before the Great Meat War, and during the war, it was transformed into a military hospital. Since then, we're relentlessly working on treating injured minds under the leadership of Dr. Quetzal, the famous specialist.
Maybe there were some, if it's a military hospital, some victims or something like that wounded from the meat war who were from Stavonia. I mean, I think I can make out the timeline quite like right. But I think Natasha fled from Stavonia after the meat war, so maybe, don't know.
The place seems pretty empty. Do many people work here?
That's the doctor.
We have 32 residents and 7 nurses, including me. We also have a 3-person maintenance and cleaning staff, and, of course, the heart and soul of our institution, Dr. Quetzal himself.
I see. Now, this Dr. Quetzal, is he the director here?
Exactly. Director, scientist, researcher, patron, and doctor. And even a friend.
Quite a guy.
He certainly is.
So who is this Dr. Quetzal exactly?
He's a world-famous researcher of the mind, Mr. Featherland. He published countless books in the fields of psychology and psychotherapy.
Psycho... what?
Unraveling the mind. It's the most crucial mission of the century, Mr. McChicken.
That's really good to know.
So this doctor's some celebrity, right? Does he usually meet other important persons?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Well, like Mr. Hobart Wessler, for example.
Ah, yes. That's something you should ask the doctor himself, but unfortunately, I don't think he has time right now.
He's swamped, is he?
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. He is very,
Yeah.
very busy. All the time.
I thought so.
Yep,
What can you
let's
say about
ask
this,
her
miss?
about the
Have
wristband.
you seen anything like it?
Of course. Our residents wear these for identification. But how did you come by it? They only wear them inside the institution.
Huh.
So he didn't
I
break
see.
out.
The wristband does belong to one of our residents. But I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you more due to regulations.
I thought so.
Come on, Miranda. It's us,
Miranda.
the Chicken Police.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Miranda, this case is a matter of life and death. Lives are in your hands.
I mean, now it's time for Marty's famous charm.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
All right. I'll do it. Albert Wessler. The patient's name is Albert Thaddeus Wessler.
we already suspected
Figures.
that.
Just as we thought.
Yep.
Thank you, Miranda. We'll never forget this.
Please, don't make me blush.
Hmm.
And don't tell anyone you heard it from me.
Oh, we won't. I promise.
So when can we talk to Mr. Wessler?
I need to ask Dr. Quetzal. Please wait here.
Thank you.
So he's still
We should go
alive.
to reception first. Let them know we're here.
I mean, we already did that.
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I think this will not end that happy for us here, like maybe similar to the visit at the sweltering Nile, because everyone is in cahoots with Ibn Wessler. He has this like dirty little paws in everything. I mean, if his brother was in this asylum, yeah, he visited there very often, I guess, and has like maybe dealings with Dr. Quetzal. Oh boy.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
Danger?
Yep.
What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
So he broke
I
out.
see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well,
Where is
reptiles have a
who?
disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Does he have...
Exactly.
Oh.
Great wild ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell, and birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
This is creeping me out. This... I mean, look at it. Okay.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in
Whew.
civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Oh boy. Okay, let's quickly look this up before we talk to him. Green tea python. Is it like a poisonous snake or a like I don't know the other type. What's the name code? Distant professional, and he gives me the creeps. Yep. The professional is a real polyhistor, scientist, writer, philosopher, and who knows what else. What else? Ah, yeah. We might have a bingo. Albert Wessler has disappeared from the asylum. Yep. Oh boy. Okay, let's look around first.
Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's central in my office.
I see. That makes sense. An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal, or are you? Maybe neither of us.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, clock up.
Yep. Oh boy, look at that.
Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal too, like all our residents.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient. Am I right?
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think.
Well, that's good to know, I guess.
Is this cell like the others?
I would rather call it a room. But yes, it's like all the others, except there are even bigger ones than this.
Good.
To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuous Quetzalcoatl, but most call me
Quetzalcoatl.
Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken, from
The
the Predatory Division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Please be specific, detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes. Why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting.
like schizophrenia,
so, are you
something
willing to
like
talk
that.
about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you. Of course, I'm at your service, but you must understand, I can't disclose information about my patients.
Why is he always looking at his watch and I have the feeling that we have to interrogate him?
Not even if it's a matter of life and death?
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
Maybe it's just asking. Yes, okay.
What
Let's
kind of a place
start with
is
this.
this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Clawville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
Almost.
What a lovely inheritance. Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Yeah.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
Okay.
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time. His first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
But why?
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
We can do this. Okay.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle.
Oh. We're off to a good start here. I think I'll put my picture like... Why? Okay. Sorry for the quick interruption here. So when did Albert become a resident of your institute? Okay.
So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Both of them?
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible grey ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
But why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course.
Because of
Mr.
his
Featherland.
mental
That's
illness?
how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Maybe I would rather live in an asylum than a family who wants to keep me a secret? Maybe he was like I mean, he said he didn't seem afraid, but...
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did. But who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
New impression, addicted to details. Okay, what kind of special treatment did Albert get? Tell me, did even Wessler threaten you in any way? Okay, we can play on the detail thingy.
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
Okay. Daydreamer. How did you see Albert when you first met? Do you think he was a threat to others? How did Albert relate to you? How did you see Albert when you first met? How did Albert relate to you? I don't think we should ask that more. One or three. Let's ask him about that. Maybe he has some detail. I mean, he already kind of said that. Let's ask that.
How did Albert relate to you?
Albert was immensely sophisticated and polite, so much so that his true emotions and thoughts could not be deciphered.
And that's why you thought of him as an exciting case.
That's right, Mr. Featherland. I see you're starting to get to know me in some way.
I'm just doing my job, Doctor.
You and me both.
Okay. Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities? So I think it went up.
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
I mean, that's the...
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth.
What did he do on those
Addicted to details.
visits? Oh boy. Okay. Confused. How could you let Albert leave this place? When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time? So Albert could just walk in and out. You're keeping some things from me, am I right? I think he likes those precise questions.
When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his brother go free. Naturally, we obliged. We had no idea if we'd ever see him again.
But you did.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say happy.
Did Ibn take him to the brothel? Maybe that, and he was not Ibn, but Albert was Natasha's lover.
That was unusual for him?
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled
Maybe he
and
was,
stared at the empty
like,
wall
in love?
for hours.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was working on a painting.
A painting.
For his brother.
The piece
Was
of
it a
painting.
of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So you already knew about that.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it.
Okay. Has Albert ever talked to you about Natasha? Did Albert tell you how he felt about the painting? So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting. Did Albert tell you about his relationship with his brother? Okay, so let's... I don't think that he, like, mentioned... no, he didn't mention Natasha when he talks to... maybe without, like, names. Maybe there was a cat and... Okay, let's find out about his feelings towards Natasha.
Did Albert tell you how he felt about the painting?
From the first moment he loved it. He was fascinated by it. But who could blame him? A little diversity, fresh air, a beautiful lady, and of course, on top of all that, he could finally do what he loved best. Paint.
Which could be a surprisingly effective therapy.
It could have been. Unfortunately, these excursions have greatly intensified his seizures. They have become more frequent and extreme.
Okay. Oh, we are doing so good right now. So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
So maybe he painted in the weekend house of Natasha's, and like one time they wanted to meet there and it was only Deborah and he got a seizure. Maybe he killed her. Or maybe like his split personalities, like one loved Natasha, one hated her. And he didn't like knew that he was like threatening her when he was like in his one personality, and in the other one he was just painting. We don't know that.
More dangerous.
Albert was hurting
himself.
And on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Maybe he did kill himself in the end, and Ibn wanted to get rid of the body because the people would think it was Ibn Wessler himself. Something like that.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed. Right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
Okay.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
Okay.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly, and he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes.
Okay.
And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Okay.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert.
Yeah.
Focus, confused.
You didn't believe Albert had an accident, is that right? The two fellas who brought Albert back, could you describe them? We know who it is. Maybe it's not that easy for you to talk about it, but did you examine his wounds thoroughly? Confused. Okay, let's go with that.
Maybe it's
You're
not
doing
easy
so good.
for you to talk about it, but did you examine his wounds thoroughly?
I'm not that kind of doctor,
Shit.
Mr. Featherland. But even I could determine his tongue was either cut out or bitten off, and his eye was gouged out. He also had several broken bones.
But there's no doubt it wasn't an accident.
I don't believe it was, Mr. Featherland.
I totally agree.
Oh, that was plus. Pull yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident? Concentrate, Doctor. What do you think happened to Albert? Okay, we just go with that because that sounds a bit mean.
Concentrate, Doctor. What do you think happened to Albert?
I'm sure it was Hobart. He ordered his men to mutilate poor Albert.
But why would he do that?
Maybe Natasha was Ibn's girlfriend, and he did notice until that point that his brother was obsessed with her, and maybe he tried to hurt Natasha, and Ibn just lost his mind because he loved his girlfriend, and yeah, wanted to I don't know, maybe he thought his brother was behind the threats, and yeah, wanted to punch him for that.
Maybe Albert saw something he
Okay,
could accidentally reveal.
maybe
To
that,
whom?
yes.
The four walls? A couple of crazies? You?
To anyone, Mr.
I mean, he was,
Featherland.
like,
I don't think
theoretically a
it's that
free
simple,
man.
Doctor. But thank you for your honest opinion.
You're welcome, Detective.
Oh, look at that. We're gonna get like 80% on
What
this.
happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No.
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
That was a
But I'm
very
glad
good
I
interrogation,
could be of
guys.
help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
That was quite
We
good.
understand,
Oh, boy.
Doctor. Thank you.
90%! Guys, that was so good. That was so good. Okay. I'm gonna call it quits here now, because we are at like 40 minutes, and that's enough. We will look at the clues in the next episode. We will, I don't know how it goes on. We will talk to the nurse again, maybe, and then hopefully we can find maybe we can find a secret hideout of his. And yeah, I'm very excited about the outcome of this year. This was very, very useful information, new information. I wasn't predicting like any sort of family family business here. And yeah, so I hope you will be joining me in the next episode, and until then, bye.